So it's no exaggeration to say that the president can have an impact on the air we breathe, the water we drink, where we can even set foot in Colorado. The president has the power to set aside land, limiting how Coloradans can use it. Tonight we continue our in-depth series on how America's choice for president will impact our state specifically. This is Decision 2024, the stakes for Colorado. Tonight our Marshall Zellinger looks at Donald Trump's plans for Colorado's air, land, and water.
The outdoors are an escape. Scenery, recreation, and perhaps the subtle sound of drill baby drill.
Nobody has more liquid gold under their feet than the United States of America, and we will use it and profit by it.
Utilizing federal public lands for energy independence was the main focus in the Department of Interior section of Project 2025, the part written by former Bureau of Land Management Acting Director William Perry Penley.
My suggestion is that President Trump, when he comes in, do what he did when he was there the first time, which is aggressively issue oil and gas leases.
Penley is also outspoken about wanting to do away with the Antiquities Act, which allows presidents to designate national monuments, like President Obama did with Browns Canyon in 2015 and President Biden did with Camp Hale in 2022.
The Biden administration has totally redefined the word conservation. President Biden and his team have closed the lands to everybody, not just oil and gas operations, but to logging and to mining, to ranching and to stock raising and to off-road vehicle activity and recreation.
Just opening up public lands to every form of recreation, and Mr. Penley may be leaning towards motorized recreation. That is going to have the most impact on public lands habitat.
David Lean is a hunter and conservationist concerned about the impact on elk herds and how Penley's recommendations would allow for more use of federal public lands.
We need to protect more habitat in order to help us manage all of those potential impacts better. They have to be managed, and in some cases, certain activities would only be limited in certain places to help, maintain habitat for wildlife.
Other environmental changes could target the Environmental Protection Agency, which Trump has previously said he wants to get rid of in almost every form. And last week, Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert called for the EPA budget to be cut to zero.
I'm concerned about the Clean Air Act. I'm concerned about the Clean Water Act. I'm concerned about soil regulations.
Environmental justice leader Ian Thomas Tafoya is also concerned about what happens to historically marginalized communities if Trump follows through and cancels clean energy programs that move industries away from fossil fuels.
The city of Commerce City, Adams County, North Denver isn't going to have the resources they need to upgrade the windows for communities, to make sure that all of those trucks that are basically coming out of an inland port in North Denver won't electrify. It'll just continue to be more fossil fuel infrastructure.
Project 2025, in the 992 pages, also calls out NOAA and the National Weather Service, calling them both the main drivers of the climate change alarm industry, and as such, is harmful to future U.S. prosperity. And Kyle, under the proposal, the National Weather Service would stop issuing forecasts unless they could just sell it and commercialize it.
Yeah, with the idea that you can get your forecast from someplace else. Interesting. I mean, a lot of places like our meteorologist 9 News collaborate with the National Weather Service and their resources to put together those forecasts. It is interesting, though, kind of the whiplash that you see in environmental regulations, right? Obama does one thing, and then Trump changes it back, and then Biden changes it back, and a lot of what they're talking about is just flipping it back one more time.
Sure, and it's interesting in Colorado, we're kind of insulated from some of that because of the Democratic governor and the Democratic legislature. So some of those things will stay constant in Colorado, but where federal land touches the state, that's where you get this whiplash effect. But overall, in the state, you may see policies locally that change nationally.
Marshall, thank you.